Joe. Thank you, everyone. Now, going over to the business blunder of the day, you have California fast food prices skyrocketing, in some cases 153%, due to the new minimum wage law. Now, granted, perhaps you could argue that the business blunder is these restaurants not properly lobbying and actually, I don't know what it takes in terms of greasing the wheels with Governor Gavin Newsom, to make sure they're not regulated out of business. Because, again, this is going to put some of these guys out of business. And contrary to the comments on LinkedIn, most fast food companies, in terms of when you go to a fast food restaurant, the establishment is owned by a mom and pop. It's a franchise business model. They're not all fat cats making millions of dollars. A lot of them are struggling just to keep the lights on. They're taking out huge loans. I mean, I think it's $1.2 million? The current investment needed if you want to apply for a they only take your full amount to actually get the opportunity to own a fast food franchise for McDonald's, but it's a lot of money. It's a huge investment. It's a huge risk. Now, this new law changed the minimum wage for fast food workers to $20 per hour for relatively unskilled labor, which I would argue is morally vacuous because you're taking away opportunities from people who do not have the skill set to be that productive, thereby removing the bottom rungs of the corporate ladder and your opportunities. The government's saying, oh yeah, you have to stay at home, not work. We deem you can't be employed because you don't have the skill set to be XYZ productive for a business where they can make a profit. Seems seems kind of mean to me, or it seems unconstitutional now that I think about it, or I thought about that for a while actually. But let me know your thoughts about kind of that concept in general. Now, some of these fast food chains are actually increasing prices by nearly $2, in some cases more. Now, this comes to us thanks to New York Post by Geneva Wong and Steve Healing. And they note that some of the biggest leaps are going from Burger King, where a Texas Double Whopper meal cost $15.09 on March 31st, but surged to $16.89 on April 1st, being a 12% increase, or monetary wise is a $1.80 increase. Now, the big fish meal jumped from $7.49 on the menu before April 1st. Again, that's when the law went into effect. Some might argue it's a cruel joke. It is for small business owners. And they note that fish meal was $7.49 before April 1st, and now it's $11.49. From $7.49 to $11.49. I mean, I know public schools are all-time low for ACT scores. I think it's 32-year low. Great job, teachers unions. We'll do a little math here today. That's a $4 increase or a 53% increase. Now, of course, they say that Burger King is not responding for comment. Now, it looks like the Hart House, which is a fast food chain owned by Kevin Hart, increased their prices by 25%. Before the law was enacted, the French fries cost $4.49, went up to $5.99. Milkshakes increased by $1. Well, sandwiches up by 50 cents. A local In-N-Out burger price hike they were a little more modest, saying the burgers went up by 25 cents. Sodas increased by 5 cents. Now, Sean Fields, who is buying, one of the patrons said, it's such a nominal increase. It seems like a reasonable amount according to one person. So again, some people I guess are acceptable with that. Let's see here. Another individual said by Eva Marino said, quote, "To be honest, I don't like it because then everything else goes up." Who is buying a meal at Burger King? These prices have to make a living one way or another, but then the restaurants have to increase their prices. And of course, this is leading to, let's see here, a lot of people doing layoffs. Now they have Scott Roderick. He owns 18 restaurants in Northern California, or California, or California, depending on who you're talking to. It's pronounced many different ways. Now, he said, quote, "As a business owner, when you're dealing with this type of extraordinary overnight change, a 25% increase in wages, no stone will remain unturned." So I'm not sure. Looks like he said they've increased prices 5 to 7% in anticipation of the new law going into effect. So they're kind of slowly putting it into effect. So over the past 3 months, they're doing those increases. So maybe customers didn't feel it as much. Now they note that the law, I can't imagine it's going to go well for people. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the comments will, as you might say, ratio me. But going to the comments, one of the first comments comes from Cutter Loudermilk saying, quote, "Working at fast food restaurants were not meant for people to support families. In the end, it will not matter much as the restaurant owners will look to abandon most employees and replace them with AI robotics. They're cooking 326 likes, which a couple of them are definitely doing that. There's that first restaurant, I think it was the first McDonald's that was fully autonomous, opened in Texas last year. Now, that being said, you still have to have someone put the ingredients into it and service it. Gavin says, quote, of course, the cost will get passed on the consumer. When will people finally realize that everyone pays for everything? Politicians buy votes with promises of high minimum wages. Then consumers pay higher prices for goods and services. Lobbyists get politicians to pay subsidies to their respective industries, and the consumers pay for it in higher taxes. Unquote. Getting 46 likes. DR says, quote, just as a reminder, the politicians who are deciding what people should be paid and how people run their businesses have never run a business or signed a paycheck. In fact, it's insane policies they have enacted that have created a need for $20 per hour burger flippers. They are pandering for votes to keep their job and could care less about how many people will lose their job or how many people will simply close down and move to another state. I'm quoting 188 likes, which, yeah, when you look at businesses moving more and over, there's one of the biggest ratios is the number of businesses leaving California versus going there. And an overwhelming majority of these comments are saying the same. Now, perhaps the business blunder was, some might say it's operating there to begin with. Now, again, one of the issues is one of the largest populations and densest populations in the world. I mean, the automotive community is always doing whatever California wants and acquiescing to their laws because it's the 10th largest automotive buying entity or area on the planet. Now, when it comes to fast food, these prices, they have to raise them to stay in business, but also going to decrease their overall revenue. So they are stuck between a rock and a hard place. I can't but think maybe the business blunder isn't lobbying properly, isn't voicing their concerns, isn't educating the consumers. Again, Lord knows the truth. I mean, the public schools aren't going to tell people, basic economics. They're not going to teach kids that. But at the end of the day, allowing this law to pass and not doing more to ensure, and again, some of them say they're going to fight it. But I mean, once you lose rights or once a law goes into effect, it's prohibitively difficult to actually get it removed and get your rights back. So we'll see at the end of the day how this happens. But yeah, allowing that law to go into effect, that certainly is the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. Again, we're trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of the month, so if you could click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a thumbs up, a thumbs down, or a comment. It's a great way to give me some additional feedback, as well as sharing the video with your friends, so it'll help with the YouTube and Rumble algorithms. Lastly, don't forget to take the time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.